Good morning. I'd like to talk to you today about oil and oil byproducts, including natural gas. Natural gas originally was considered just some sort of nuisance thing as part of the drilling process. They didn't know what to do with it except to just basically burn it off until somebody said, well, why don't we use it for heating? Then we found that there are huge fields of just natural gas. But petroleum drilling actually started here in western Pennsylvania. In 1852, a man named Gessner developed the idea and process of oil refining, which is simply a modified version of alcohol distillation. You heat up the oil and you can separate it into its different products. The thing that he liked was the best part of it, the lightest oil, was something called kerosene. And it could be used as heating oil, and it was a way to replace the diminishing supply of whale oil. People who were coming out of New Haven and other American seaports, as well as England, going to the South Seas and looking for whales. They would be gone for a year or two. They would go out in these little boats, kill the whales, bring them in, cut them up, boil their flesh and their brains and everything to produce oil. The best oil, in fact, was usually from the head of the whales. There's a species of whales, in fact, called the right whales. I always wondered why it was called that, because it was the right size, produced a lot of oil, and they usually were found near the seacoast. They were easier to hunt than some of the other oil-bearing whales. But because of diminishing supply, whale oil was becoming very expensive. Kerosene was a very inexpensive and abundant second alternative supply. So within a couple of years, oil was definitely in demand as a way of heating and lighting houses. And in 1859, in August of 1859, Edwin Drake, along with Uncle Billy, his driller, struck oil near Titusville at only 69 feet. They were using a steam engine to help drill down that shallow depth. But it created an oil boomtown near Titusville called Pit Hole City, which by 1865, from 1859 to 1865, a city was founded called Pit Hole, which had a population of 15,000 people from nothing. But the oil gave out, and by 1868, the place was abandoned. But you could see the potential of the oil creating boomtowns, not only with Pit Hole City near Titusville, but also Oil City. And Oil City always had Oil Creek near it, which had naturally occurring oil seeping out that the Indians had used for centuries to waterproof their canoes and their pottery. And people were also using up to the development of kerosene as a patent medicine. Dr. Smith's miracle elixir was just rough, unrefined petroleum that people were rubbing on their bodies, hoping that would make them healthier. Of course, now we know how dangerous that practice is. But the refining process produced not only the kerosene, but it produced all these other products. And one of them was that produced a great deal of it, was not as refined, it wasn't as good of fuel, and they basically threw it away. They called it gasoline, until somebody was able to develop engines that burned gasoline. Then there was an even more debased and dirtier fuel that nobody had no idea how they could use it, until a German engineer named Diesel developed the diesel engine that was able to combust it purely through compression. And all of a sudden diesel was in demand as well. And of course, as I said before, natural gas was found to be very versatile as well. So all of this oil and oil byproducts had a large part was created here in western Pennsylvania. And this was the center of oil production, with all these boom towns, like I said, with Oil City and Bradford and others, that, well, in fact, in the case of Bradford, it was a very small town, and all of a sudden, when they discovered oil there, it grew to a city of 30,000 people with more per capita millionaires in the population than any other city in the country at the time, and that included the Phillips brothers, who built mansions up there. So we have gone through this before. It can be more sustainable now, especially with the large gas deposits that have been discovered. So the potential is there. We just have to be able to keep innovating and finding new ways of producing other products, including plastics, fertilizers, and antifreeze, and other products from not only the oil but also the gas. And we'll discuss more of that later. I just wanted to give you a basic idea of the potential of oil and its byproducts. Thank you.